Hello everyone, how are we? How are you all doing? If someone in the chat could give me a little update on if the stream is lagging or not now that I've gone live. Hopefully it is all fine now. The intro is not like, there's not like thousands of frames, so sometimes it's like it does jitter just a little bit. So hopefully that was all it was, and it's all fine now. Yeah, people are saying it's fine. It sounds okay, no lag. Perfect. How are we? All good. I am very well, thank you. Thank you all very much for joining. It is game week 28, the deadline stream. We'll be doing the usual stuff where we answer all of your questions. Having a look at my team. Luckily, there's not too much to talk about. Well, there's virtually nothing to talk about with my team for this week. So we'll be spending 2 hours mainly answering all of your questions. As we start, just before we get into it, we have put the benching ranking across 2 pages because there are so many players being asked for. So 1 to 15 are on page 1, and then the next ones are on the next page. So on page 2, you've got from 16 to 30. So all the players on page 1 are better than all the players on page 2. It's just ranked from 1 to 30. So we get a bigger list of players that you should be starting or you should be benching as well. Before we do any of that, say hello in the chat. We will do usual rounds of hellos. Whenever I stream, it's when I always realize quite how dirty my glasses probably are. And then I always have to go and clean them. But say hello in the chat. When was the last time deadline was 11 a.m. on a Saturday? It feels like ages ago. Last week it wasn't. The week before it wasn't. The week before that it wasn't. It hasn't been on the early kickoff since Chris Wood scored a hat-trick against Brighton. And that feels like a long time ago. Since the 1st of February. In over a month, we haven't had a 11 o'clock UK time. We haven't had a Saturday morning deadline in over a month. I think we got back. We don't even have back-to-back. Because next week, it's not until it's later. And then it's a wait until game week 30, which is midweek. And then the next one isn't until the 5th of April. So, anyway, let's say hello to some of you in the chat. FPL Lucho, Fiona, Juali, Diehard Kid, Ope, Immortal, Everyday FPL, Trevor, John. Hello to all the members and moderators in this morning. Thank you all very much for your support. Good morning to everyone else as well. Ati, Mulera, Richard, G, Chug, Little Grandma, Rodders, Alex, Anita, Masolani, Ishmael, Ian, Billy, Benjamin, Duncan, Aaron, Isaac, Orgoli, Ivy, Adam, Joe, Isaac, Ewan, Ashish, Michael, Andy B, Rohit, Jeremiah, Greg, Daniel Banks, Proba, Jags, James, Alfie, Shane, Vitally, Nick, AB, Ali, Charles, Matt, Alex, Red Forest, Steve, Unati, Calvin, Liam, Parmesan, Tom, Abby, Sanch, Pivichfave, Darren, Caleb, Daniel, and Mac Don. Hello to everyone else in as well. My glasses are so dirty I can hardly see what's going on, but we are here nonetheless. So my team for this week is incredibly boring. Of course, Chris Wood will play over Ahmad, and that's that. I cannot see a reason or a world where I don't roll my transfer. We will be looking out for a little bit of early team news, so I can't say categorically that we're locked in. But unless we hear negative news on someone in my lineup before the deadline, my lineup will not be changing. Salah will be getting the captaincy armband, unless we hear that he's going to get if there was a rumour before the deadline that he was benched, I'd move the captaincy armour to Palmer, but I'd still start Mo Salah. If Trent, there was that rumour, I'd probably bench him for Mikalenko, but I'd have to decide what I was going to do on the Trent one, because that's a little bit closer maybe than just playing Salah. I am going to roll my transfer, yes. Duncan, what's the issue? Would I play Mitoma over Chris Wood or Palmer? I definitely wouldn't bench Palmer, of course. Mitoma is below Chris Wood in my ranking, so no. Question is Isak a sell in game week 29? I think I'll have to sell one of Salah, Palmer, Isak to get Haaland into my team. Now, yeah, it's because there's 2 pages of it now. I had to make it across 2 pages because there's so many. There's page 1 and page 2. So page 1 is 1 to 15 and page 2 is 16 to 30. So the benching ranking is there, but it now goes from 1 to 30. I couldn't change the colours in time. Bench 2, Gabriel, Wanyeri, Rodgers, Colwill, Van Dijk. Van Dijk you play, Colwill you play. I'd probably play Wanyeri versus Gabriel is pretty close. I'd probably play the 2 attackers if you can. I'd play Rodgers, Colwill, Van Dijk, and probably bench your double Arsenal if I'm honest. Colwill and Van Dijk definitely start, and then there's one of the remaining 3. Best Cunha replacement, 2 free transfers, 3 million in the bank. So my general opinion on what to do if you've got the likes of Cunha, if you've got the likes of Mateta. Now, if you own just one of them and you can bench them this week and think about going Haaland potentially next week, you might change your mind and not want Haaland next week, but that's probably what we're looking at. If you've got both of them, best replacements, Chris Wood if you don't own, Visser despite the fixtures, Beto, Evan Nielsen, Strand Larsen or Marmoush. I would probably only go Marmoush if we knew that he starts this morning and you know you're not going to go Haaland. So I don't think it's the best week to buy Marmoush. I don't think there'll be loads of goals in Forest Man City as well. Visser, Wood, Rodgers, start 2. I'd probably bench Rodgers there. If I don't free hit 29, when is it playable? I think it's actually much better playable in game weeks 33 or game week 34. We'll know which is better out of 33, the double, or 34 or the blank, depending on the FA Cup results after game week 29. I much prefer saving the free hit. I've spoken about this a lot in my chip strategy video this week. If you don't have to play the free hit in 29, I wouldn't. If you can build towards selling, like if you've now got Lewis Hall and you've got Mateta and now suddenly they're both out, I would look to sell them for players who don't blank and not free hit. For example, buy Beto or Strand Larsen, probably Beto. I did say in my final decisions video, with all of the players coming back from injury for Wolves, despite Cunha being out, it might give them a boost, and it did boost Strand Larsen, in my opinion, just a little bit, but I think I'd still go Beto. I think it's quite close though. If I had to triple captain this week, who would I triple captain? Thing is, if you were telling me you 100% were going to triple captain this week, I would probably put it on Palmer because I wouldn't want the risk that my triple captain didn't start. I think Salah starts, but I think the risk is too much. I wouldn't triple captain this week. I don't think this is a good week to do it because I think there's too much risk of Salah's minutes to risk a chip. I'm happy enough just putting my normal captaincy on him, but yeah. Breakfast choice. So I am a savoury breakfast person. Like I am a like bacon and eggs, like a breakfast sandwich, that sort of stuff. Much more over sweet. Like I don't get me wrong, like pancakes and stuff, like I don't mind, but yeah, I'm a savoury breakfast person. every day. Bacon sandwich, eggs on toast, that sort of stuff. Always. Bench Wood or Wanyeri. It's in my benching ranking. Chris Wood is on page 1 and Wanyeri's page 2. So Chris Wood over Wanyeri, definitely. Bruno Fernandes or Wanyeri. Again, it's the same. Fernandes is definitely higher up than Wanyeri. I'd definitely play Fernandes. Would I risk captaining Munoz? You're low down in your league, so you need a gamble. I don't like, and I never like having a captain on a defender. So much can go wrong that just isn't in there. Isn't in their power. So no, I wouldn't. If you want a differential, Palmer is a great one this week. I'd rather Palmer than Munoz. Oh, that is a good question though. I did put some others, but captaincy outside of Salah and Palmer this week is really difficult. What is your advice and best way to play aggressive if 2.4 million in the bank? You've only used your triple captain. If you want to be aggressive, there are opportunities to do it. Differing in chip strategy is one. Like, if you get to this point and play different chip strategy, particularly if you've got your assistant manager left, is absolutely a way that you could do it. So try and be a little bit clever with that. Like taking on Salah I know some people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. I don't really like it, but it is an opportunity if you're 2.4 million that you might want to have a think about doing something a little bit different. Your GW28 team, Cunha, Ahmad, Palmer, Trent, to Haaland, Minte, Bowen, Ryan, Nori. Yes, -4. Or Palmer to someone cheaper than Bowen for no hit. I mean, you have to make those 4 transfers anyway to get a full 11 out, basically. If you can go cheaper than Bowen and it's not a hit and you still get a full 11, I'd probably do that. I don't think Bowen is that essential. Brentford at home in game week 30 is good. Sorry, no, that's not. That's who Newcastle have. Game week 30, who do West Ham have? Wolves away. Like, it's not bad. It's okay. I don't think once you've missed the Leicester game for Bowen, it's a little bit less essential to go and buy him. Still start Mikalenko over Robinson with Pickford. So this is where the benching ranking isn't completely clear, because if I had Pickford in goal, I might not want to double up on the Everton defence. So I probably would go Robinson over Mikalenko in that case. If you've got just any other goalkeeper, I'd definitely start Mikalenko to cover a bit of Everton. But if you've already got Pickford, I would probably go with Robinson in goal. Best Cunha replacements. So again, if you can hold and go Haaland next week, that's probably my recommendation. If not, it's Chris Wood. If it's not that, it's probably Visser, it's Strand Larsen, it's Beto, it's Marmoush or Evan Nilsson, depending on how much risk you want to take. Visser is definitely the safest. Someone like a Strand Larsen is more of a punt. Harry, we need a free hit 29 video. Do not worry, there will be one next week. It will either be Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. Haven't exactly planned when it's going to be, but you will have a free hit 29 video for me. Don't worry. Best replacement for Lewis Hall, not free hitting 29. Again, if you can go Munoz and it doesn't impact your squad in 29, I'd do that because he's useful in game week 30. If not, you're looking at either Kirkes, 8 Nori or Gavadio. If you need a lot of money, you could have a look going down to someone like a Cresswell or an Agbadu. He's 4 million and just returned from Wolves for Wolves. Cresswell's also good at 3.9 as well. Why is Kluivert above Bowen and Mbermo in the penalty ranking? I haven't seen anything from Spurs recently to think that they won't be beaten. I just think Bournemouth will win, and I'm not sure the other games are as clear-cut, personally. Triple caption on Salah? Personally, I wouldn't do it. No. Does blank game week affect the assistant manager? Yeah, so if the team you've got, so for example, if you have the Crystal Palace manager in game week 29, you will get 0 points, so you'll have to sell them. It doesn't carry over. What's the plan now for me to play the assistant manager? I need to see the FA Cup results. So It might be that I just go wildcard 31 and I assistant manager in the final 3 weeks of the season. It might be that I go assistant manager 30 or 31 and bench boost later on in the season. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I haven't fully decided on what we're going to do yet. Just here to say hello and thank you for the help. Rasim, and no worries. Appreciate it. Yeah, I had got to the point where actually even before Newcastle got knocked out that I didn't want to play my assistant manager on Eddie Howe regardless because I didn't think it was lucrative enough to ruin the rest of the chips being played at that time. So I'd actually got to the point where I was probably going to play it on Glasner. Now, if Glasner gets like 4 or 5 games of table bonus in 3 game weeks, I might still go on Glasner, which is why I need to see the FA Cup results. If not, it's still possible I go Glasner in 30. But yeah, Gakpo is a big problem. People disagree with me, but I don't think he's going to start. My prediction is that Gakpo will be on the bench, but it's a prediction. I may well be wrong. It's very easy for me to sit here and say that without him in my team anymore. If you've got him and you want to take a chance on it, that's fine. Like, I'm not against that because if he does start in that fixture, it's great. But I personally just don't see him starting. I just don't see it. Harry, is FPL my full-time job? It is. It is. Everything you see here is my full-time job. Thanks to you all and everyone for their support as well, basically getting me here. Yeah. It was about this time last year. Actually, no, I started full-time in basically January last year. So yes. Is it safe to buy the 4 million Wolves defender? I mean, if you need them this week, maybe not, but he is first choice. Like, from game week 29 onwards, he'll be in the team, but it's no guarantee that he starts this week, I think. You agree Gakpo will be protected and start versus PSG at Anfield on Tuesday. Would Isak to Trent to Haaland and Howson in 29 be good? I think a lot of people will go to Trent. As good as he's been for us, I think realistically 7.5 million on him is probably not worth it. Like, he's only had 1 return, okay, away at Brentford. But they were pretty lucky to get away with that. But apart from that, there's only been 1 return since like game week 19 that you would have taken a real hit not owning him. He has been consistent, right? But there have been a decent amount, like an assist there and a goal there. The rest have all been clean sheets, like clean sheet because he got taken off early, clean sheet and a clean sheet. So I don't think he's as essential as I thought he was. I think for people looking to get Haaland, Trent is probably an easy make way if you need a bit of money. I would love to keep him because like he comes back in after 30 with some really nice fixtures. Everton at home, Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leicester away. Like, if I could own Trent for those games, it would be great. But you've got to remember that Bradley will be back, I think, around then. And then they've got, if they beat PSG as well. Yeah, so that's what you've also got to remember this week is there are European games which might impact some of the transfers that we look to make. So, for example, if Liverpool get through, it probably increases the chance of like a Trent being rotated. If Spurs get knocked out, it decreases the chance of a double in game week 36, for example. So there are knock-on impacts of European fixtures next week on the rest of the season and what transfers and plans you might make. So if you can next week, I know lots of you are looking at early plans. There were a lot of price changes last night, which will impact game week 29 plans, but I would really urge if you can to wait until game week 30. Wait until closer to the game week 29 deadline to make your transfers. Why is Bowen ranked higher than Wood and Bissett? It's a home fixture. Newcastle will definitely have an eye on the Carabao Cup final. Paquetá back increases their creativity. I think Villa, Brentford is pretty hard to call. Bowen is a midfielder. It's pretty close between those groups of players, but I probably would go Bowen over Wood and Bissett. Will I keep Palmer for 29? At the moment, he's most likely to be the one that leaves my team for 29, I think. Most likely at the moment, but Yeah, not guaranteed. I've got to sell one, I think, of Salah, Palmer, Isak, and I haven't decided. I think most likely is Palmer, then Isak, then Salah, but I'm not ruling out that I sell any of them. The issue with selling Salah and Isak is it more likely locks me into a game week 31 wildcard, whereas Palmer allows me to be a little bit more flexible because Salah and Isak are probably more longer term holds for me than Palmer is potentially. It is possible that I keep all three. I can do it on FPL.team if I show you. If I do Watkins, I actually don't know if I can do it now because of the price changes last night, but let's have a look. So if I do Watkins to, one sec. I have this app that I have to download that allows me to tap on my mouse rather than click because I know how annoying it probably is. Cool. So if I was to do Watkins to Haaland, again, it's a little bit of a benefit of having that. Ahmad to, let's put Minte in. He didn't actually rise last night. That's interesting. I could bench Salah. I could bench. I would have to do Mbermo down to someone also cheap. Who's a good example? Let's put Elanga in. I don't know if I can quite afford him. And then Trent. Yeah, Trent to Nori. So I can afford it to go Palmer, Haaland, and Salah. I just don't know if it's actually good for my team in the long term. And Isak. It makes it really difficult for me to play the assistant manager, though. But it would mean in game week 30, like I have Salah in, Isak in. Like, stuff looks pretty good. It is something I consider. It's something I will consider. Issue is I've got nothing in the bank for this, so I almost certainly can't do those transfers because I'm not doing it tonight. So I probably would have to not go Elanga. I'd have to go someone cheaper than Elanga. And there's not very much in at that price, and I'm really making myself short in terms of like future plans. I have actually considered going Semenyo in here and then doing Pickford to Jose Sarr or Pickford to Areola. Like something like that. It is a -4, but it probably gives me a better pick. And it gives me a little bit of money in the bank. It is selling Pickford for a hit, which isn't great, but I do have Mykolenko. So I have considered a Salah, Palmer, Haaland, Isak draft. I don't have any plans for Bruno. No, not really. Unless I sell Salah, in which case I could probably get to Bruno. But I just don't think I'm going to go to Bruno. Yeah, again, they've got a massive game in Europe again next Thursday. That United team look like they're running on fumes at the moment. Morning, Jack. Thank you very much. Good luck to you. Do I think Dango starts? Bench him or Wanyeri? I think Dango starts, but I'm not confident enough. I probably would play Dango or Wanyeri. They're on the second of my benching rankings list. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's really close. They're right next to each other. I'd go Wanyeri just because of the minutes. If I knew for certain Dango started, I'd play him. But there's enough doubt. And that's why João Pedro is quite low down in my ranking as well. Because I'm not certain enough that he starts that I'd play him if I had the choice. He's like 15th in my ranking. Yes, if you haven't already, please drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate those in the chat giving me a reminder. 2,700 of you in and watching and 200 likes. So over 2,500 of you haven't. If you could, that would be great. Thank you very much. My cup of tea is not staying warm. It's meant to be warm. There we go. There we go. Let me know when I plan to use the assistant manager chip and you can go away from you and do something different. No, I have a mug because I stream. I have a mug that keeps my tea warm, but it wasn't keeping it warm, but I forgot to turn it on. Would I approve playing Mikolenko over Kirkes? I probably would go Kirkes. If you don't have Pickford, then maybe you could play Mikolenko, but I would still probably just about go Kirkes. They're next to each other on the ranking, though. Thank you, Tom. Triple captain best use game week 32. Sorry, if you haven't played it already, and if you're not using a chip that week. I do love Mikolenko. Yeah, my love-hate relationship with Mikolenko. I've got to buy Alex Volua. I bought him an Everton shirt. It has arrived to me, and then I've got to post it to him. But yes. Ahmad starting. Ahmad will start. Don't worry. But I'm just not going to answer questions on why I'm starting Ahmad. So I'll move it at the end. Let me know which time you use first free hit and wildcard. You have both. Let's not use either until game week 30 and let's reassess once the FA Cup's out of the way. Generally, unless you're free hitting 29, don't worry too much about your chips until we get to game week 30 and then probably game week 31 at the earliest. Would I do Ahmad out? Yeah. To Minte, you need to do it next week anyway to get 11 out. I wouldn't do it this week if you don't, like, for example, I'm not selling Ahmad this week because I don't categorically know where I'm going to go. So you saw in the plans that I just did, I might do, if I go like Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Isak, I would have to go really cheap. I'd have to go Minte. I'd have to go with someone down there. But if I have the luxury, I'd go Semenyo in that spot. So it's not quite as straightforward. So unless you need them, don't do it this week because it might change who you're going to buy. Yeah, I could assistant manager 36 Wolves over the final 3 weeks. The issue is if like they're safe from relegation, it's not. I don't know how confident I'll feel from that. They probably won't be safe from relegation with 3 to go, but they're 5 points clear now. So in theory, they could be safe with 2 to go. It might depend how they do over the next 4 games, because if they do really well, they'll be safe by that point in the season. So let's see. Like relegation could be wrapped up by then. Play Dango or João Pedro. Keep in mind you have Robinson. I'd still go João Pedro, I think. I think they both have a pretty likely chance of starting. So I'd go for João Pedro, I think. If you disagree on the percentage chances of starting, then play whichever you think's more likely to start. But I think João Pedro is as equal to and then a better asset when he's on the pitch. Play Dango or Robinson. Any benching list today? Yes, Dango is above Robinson on the benching list. The benching list is in the top right hand corner now. I'm going to get something that sort of highlights and like flashes. You've got 1 to 15 on page 1. So who was it? Dango or Robinson. They're both on page 2 actually. So page 2 you have the rest of them. There you go. So you've got Dango in 22nd and Robinson in 28. So I don't love a lot of the clean sheet odds that aren't. If you look at Rob T FPL, let me get it up. If you look at the projections from Rob T, they're, unless you're owning a Liverpool defender, a Chelsea defender, a Palace defender, or an Arsenal defender, outside of that, clean sheets are really difficult to predict. Wolves and Everton are both not bad, but outside of that, it's really hard. Like Fulham's really low, like Forest and City are pretty low. West Ham and Newcastle, Spurs, Bournemouth, like Brentford, Villa. The clean sheet odds on a lot of these are really low. Pratique, apologies. Bench 2, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz. Well, you're not benching Trent and you're not benching Munoz. So you're probably going to bench Mikalenko because you've got Kirkes, and bench one of Sarr and Rodgers. I'd bench Rodgers. You can't bench Sarr at home to Ipswich. Yeah. -4 to bring in Allison to cover Trent. No. Like, what's the best case scenario there? Allison gets 7 points, maybe, and then you're at a net 3. No, it's not worth it. And then he blanks next week. No. Gut instinct on assistant manager chip looks awkward to use around 30 to 34. The gut instinct is those people who have played it have got a much easier strategy. It's not necessarily a better strategy, but part of me wishes I'd played it 25 to 27. Now, I wouldn't have bought Watkins. In my case, because I didn't go on the assistant manager, I bought Watkins instead, and that means I didn't have Gakpo for his double blank in the double. He scored 15, and then I didn't buy Cunha. So part of me thinks it's worked out okay, and the assistant manager 25 to 27 wasn't actually that good for me, but it is just easier if you don't have it left. It's just a whole world easier. Your 350k, would I chase with the Palmer captaincy? The thing is, like, and you've always got to remember, if you're looking at chasing with the Palmer captaincy, what happens if it goes wrong? What happens if Palmer scores 1 and Salah gets 2 or 3? Like, then what? Then not only are you 350k, you're 700k. How do you feel in that situation? I can't tell you how you feel in the negative side of that situation. If you're fine with taking that risk and that you're going to be 700k if it goes badly or even worse, then yes, I'd captain Palmer this week. But I'm just not sure this is the week for it, personally. Need to sell Ahmad. For Semenyo, Minte, you own Kluivert. I'd probably go Semenyo. You'd feel worse. Then I probably wouldn't do it. And that's how I felt after I captained Palmer. I wish I hadn't taken the risk. I think it was the right decision on the back of it and on the face of it. It was the right decision to captain Palmer over Salah last week, but I just wish I hadn't done it because I don't have the risk appetite. Why are you making it sound like 700k is bad? Sorry, you could go all the way to the amazing rank of that. No, but from 350k, it was more explaining that if you've got, if you're captaining Palmer this week, everyone's like, and it happened last week as well. If you're captaining someone that's a differential and you're like, would you take this gamble? Yes, I would. But you've also got to understand what the negative side of that is, right? You've got to understand, like, if you fall in rank, how do you then feel? Because that is a very reasonable possibility. It's not like, oh, I'm going to captain Palmer and it's going to go well and I'm going to gain rank and that's fine. Because it might go wrong. And then how do you feel? Because if you then get it wrong, not only are you trying to gain from 350k to where you want to be, but you're now having to gain from 700k to 350k to where you want to be. Gakpo, I don't predict Gakpo start. I might be wrong. I may well be wrong, but I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be on the bench. I think he might get minutes, but I don't think he'll start. Forward line, Pedro, Isak, Wissa, good or swap someone. I'd keep it this week. Should I swap Cunha to Wissa, Hall to Gavardio, Dango to Kluivert, or Roll? You got Wanyeri too. I wouldn't do Dango to Kluivert, to be honest. Would I do Cunha to Wissa and Hall to Gavardio? It depends if you need them this week. If you need them this week, then yes. If you don't, I'd probably just roll and do it that way. Yes, someone was saying earlier, it is the Sidemen charity match today. Absolutely, I'll be looking out to see the result of that. I'd like to go one year. I think it's pretty cool. It's sold out a 90,000 seater stadium in like 2.5 hours is crazy. I'm not surprised. Like, some of the names they've got playing in that game are crazy. But yeah, like selling out a 90,000 seater stadium in 2.5 hours and raising like £2 million a year for it is crazy. Good on them. Good on them. I'd love to go and watch one year. Yeah, no Mark Goldbridge. I wonder why. I liked him last year, but it is good that they, like, one thing I think people don't love about Soccer Aid, one of the reasons people don't love Soccer Aid is that it's the same players every year. Of course, Soccer Aid is a fantastic cause and it raises a lot of very good money. But from the match, and it doesn't get quite the like hype that a Sidemen charity match does, is because there's often a lot of the same people. So for, the Sidemen charity match, they do change it up a little bit, try and get some new faces in every year. So as much as I like Mark Goldbridge, it's nice to see a little bit of change year on year with these sorts of things. Some new faces, give someone else an opportunity. Just because, you didn't grow or become big the year that it happened first, shouldn't mean that you should never get in it, for example. So it gives opportunities to new people. But it is a fantastic event. I will be watching it. I'm going to visit some friends this weekend, so I probably won't watch it. I'll probably watch the highlights. But yeah, always a good cause. I'd like to go and watch one. I did look at it when the tickets came out, and I was in the queue, and I was like 250,000th in the queue. So yeah, they should make a charity match fantasy game. Maybe there is one. Anyway. Pratik, we did the question. I'd bench Mikalenko and Kirkes, and I'd bench Rodgers. Who are these Sidemen influencers? I had to look at, I had to explain to Holly who they were the other day. I tried to explain it. It's not actually the easiest thing to explain to someone who doesn't really do YouTube who they are. But yeah, they are the most famous group of YouTubers. They're the most famous group of YouTubers in the world. And they include some of the most famous individual YouTubers as well. Injuries mean you have to play Greaves today. Is there a good attacking option that I can get this week besides Isak? In forward line, just buy Woods if you need a midfielder. There are Semenyo, you can buy Kluivert. There are a few. If not, you could sell Greaves this week to someone like an 8 Nori because they'll be beneficial next week. Why do I still own Ahmad? Because I've just never wanted... I always said that I wouldn't sell him until after the FA Cup because I wanted to have a better understanding of what was going to happen, of who I was going to buy. And after the FA Cup, things didn't get massively clearer. So I was like, well, I'll just wait till next week as well. Because I don't need that player this week. I don't need them. If Isak was more of a doubt, I'd sell him and have a good first sub. But I think Isak plays. I wouldn't triple captain Salah, I don't think, this week. It's not the worst idea, because I do think he starts, but if I was going to triple captain this week, I'd probably play it on Palmer, because I wouldn't want to take the risk that Salah didn't start as my triple captain. I think Salah does, but I have enough. I think Speak, Harry. My conviction that Salah starts is enough to captain him, but probably not to triple captain him. My favourite Sidemen. Probably my namesake. Probably Harry. I met Harry once at the Champions League final. Chelsea, Man City and Porto. Harry was there. I didn't really meet him. I asked for a photo and said hello. What chip to use? You haven't used any yet. I would wait until game week 31. My chip strategy is to wait until game week 30 and then decide, basically. Bring in Kluivert for Saar or roll and have 3. Don't bring in Kluivert for Saar this week. Saar's got great fixture. Home to Ipswich. I support Chelsea. Hence, I was at the Chelsea Man City Champions League final. Have I met me? Yeah, I met me. The final was probably the best night of my life. It was. It was. It's a running joke in our household that was the best night of our life. Did I see I Show Speed on CBS? Yeah, I saw him do a backflip off the table. Why Kirkes over Mikalenko? I just think Spurs are pretty all over the place at the moment. If Spurs get knocked out of the Europa League, I think they'll sack Ange. I think they'll sack him over the international break if they get knocked out next Thursday. I genuinely think his job is on the line next Thursday. And so that game is so incredibly important. I just don't think they care particularly about this one. Cunha to Wissa or Marmoush? I'd rather Wissa personally, but I'm boring like that. If you don't do Ahmad to Minte, you would have a 4-4-2. I'd rather Minte than Greaves this week. Yeah, I can't see him. I can't see him keeping his job if they get knocked out. Is there any defender we're taking a -4 today to ease off the pressure for next week? Probably 8 Nori is probably the top one, or Kirkes. But if it's a -4 next week anyway, then just get it done this week. I look like a Spurs fan. That is outrageous. Is it worth doing Palmer and Isak to maybe Semenyo and Haaland, or Rodgers and Haaland? I don't do Haaland this week. Don't sell Palmer for Haaland this week. There's loads of talk about Haaland, but no one's actually buying him this week. Everyone's buying him next week because a load of the money for it is coming out of Trent, Palmer, and Salah, all who have much better fixtures than Haaland this week. Everyone's talking about Palmer to Haaland, Salah to Haaland, Trent to Haaland, but no one's doing it this week. So, good morning, Jay. Bench 1 out of Robinson, Howson, or Rodgers. Howson, probably. If you use your assistant manager chip in 31, how will I bring in all the Newcastle and Palace players and bring in the doublers for 33? So my idea of assistant manager 31 would be that I wouldn't move it. So I'd put it on Glasner, for example, for 3 weeks. And he has the potential to have 5 table bonus games in that time. So I wouldn't actually need transfers for it because it's not a transfer to activate it, and then I wouldn't move the chip. So if I was to play it between 30 and 33, the chances are I'd probably put it on just one manager. Who do I think scores higher between Mikalenko and Beto? I'd always play the attacker in that example. Semenyo, Foden, Morgan Gibbs White versus Beto in 29, and Isak versus Salah in 30. Salah is better than Isak in 30. Semenyo, Foden, Gibbs White versus Beto in 29. Foden, if we knew he was going to start, probably Semenyo. I probably prefer the midfielders, but I probably prefer Salah and Beto over those midfielders and Isak in 30. Ahmad for who? I'm just going to keep him and bench him this week. If you need a replacement, Semenyo, Minte, Gibbs White, Alanga, probably the top ones that we've got. Any risk of Alisson gets a rest? There's a risk of every Liverpool player getting a rest this week. I think they'll make 3 or 4 changes. I think Kwanzaa will start over Trent or over Konate. I think Tsimikas will definitely start. I think Curtis Jones will definitely start. And I think probably Endo will start. That's probably where we're at. Pickford replacement post 29. It will depend if you're wildcard 31. If you're wildcard 31, it's probably not worth the transfer. And you just play Pickford away at Liverpool in 30. If you're going to sell, if you're not, then Jose Sarr is going to be pretty popular, I think. Would I use one transfer if I have no bench cover? Ahmad to... If I didn't have Mikalenko, for example, would I sell Ahmad? Still probably not. Because I still don't know. I'm for certain. I think that Ahmad spot is so important. And it's going to be such a differential. If one of the Wolves, Gonzalo Guedes of Wolves looks really good at 5.3 million, he'll be really popular next week for Southampton away, West Ham at home. There are loads of good midfield punts that you can take in that I just don't want to rush the decision there. What to do with Foden? maybe even considering doubling up with Haaland, I'd keep Foden because I think there'll be rotation against Leicester, which might be good for Foden. I'd probably hold on to him unless you are starting him this week. If you're starting Foden and we get news that he doesn't start and you don't have any bench cover, then I'd probably sell him. Mykolenko or Kerkez is a big one. If you've got Pickford, I'd probably go Kerkez. If you don't have Pickford, I probably would go Mykolenko. The defence ownership of Everton is pretty high. I'd probably want a piece of that if you don't have Pickford. Is probably where I'm at between the two. On the face of it, Kerkez over. I'd rather Kerkez in my team over Mykolenko, but it will depend. It's too close, and I think the Pickford ownership will swing it a little bit. Mateta to Wood or just roll and play Rodgers? Mateta to Chris Wood or roll and play Rodgers? I'd roll because you might want to do something different next year, and I don't think Chris Wood is worth deciding early on what you want to do. Bench Wood, Bowen or Beto. I think they're all in my benching ranking. It will come up in just a moment. I'm pretty sure that Beto is the lowest. If I had to buy an Ahmad replacement, Clivert would be 1, Semenyo would be 2, Gibbs-White would be 3, and Minte would be 4 probably. 50-50 on Robinson or Mykolenko again. It might depend on if you have Pickford in goal. Might depend on that. If you're down by 85 points in your mini league, makes sense to wildcard this week if your team isn't great. No, this is probably the worst week left of the season to wildcard, I'd say. So no. I'd wait until at least game week 29, probably game week 30. You have Wood. Good to know. Isak, Mateta for game week 29. What should be the transfers with 3 free transfers? I just roll this week and probably look to do Mateta to Haaland next week. For a follow-up question regarding the assistant managership, although you'll be benefiting from the assistant manager 30 to 31, you won't lose out on other key doublers? Yeah, so I think 31 to 33 is unlikely that I play the assistant manager there. It would take, for example, if Forest won, Villa won, City won, and suddenly the double in game week 33 looks really bad, then maybe I play it there. Because then we'd only be having like 3 doubles or 4 doubles in that week. And then it's very easy to navigate. But it will depend a little bit on the FA Cup. I'd be surprised. That's why I quite like 30 to 32. I am having a real consideration for assistant manager 30 to 32. Free hit 33, wildcard 35, bench boost 36. Will I play Glasner assistantship if Mateta is not fit? It sounds like he'll be available, but I would consider not. Gakpo probably plays 30 to get ready for PSG. He probably doesn't get the full game. That's my opinion, that he'll probably play 30. But he didn't train on Thursday, right? And if he didn't train on Friday, then he's not going to play at all. So I can't see him getting more than 30. But do you think that on Friday before game week 31, we will have the full blank double schedule till the end of the season? We should have it to game week 35. We might not know what 36, 37 looks like. We won't know what 36, 37 definitely will look like. But we'll have good predictions for it, but we won't know for certain. But we'll know 33, 34 by 31, I imagine. It's not guaranteed, but 90+%. Why Gvardiol so low? You brought him in for Hall. It's just I think Forest score today. I think from next week, Gvardiol is a really, really good pick. But if you're buying this week, I'd rather buy Aït-Nouri. But I like him a lot from next week. Hall to Aït-Nouri or just roll and play Mykolenko, Pickford. I mean, you're going to have to do that transfer anyway. Part of me would just say roll in case things change. Best pair of goalkeepers to own. probably just the cheapest you can get. Jose Sarr, Areola, something like that. Just 8.5 is probably what I'd do. I don't know how they rotate though. I just save as much money on the goalkeepers as possible, to be honest. Who is the second Chelsea asset that you would punt on? If it was a punt for 1 week, I'd go Nkunku. If I'm buying for long term, I'd go Neto. Because when Jackson, etc. comes back, Nkunku will probably drop out, whereas Neto will probably keep his place. Kieran, Hall to Aït-Nouri, Kirkez, Aina this week. I'd probably go Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri versus Kirkez. I wouldn't go all or Aina against City, I don't think. I probably would go Aït-Nouri. Probably. Bench Gakpo or Rodgers, and why? I'd bench Gakpo. I just don't think he starts. Now, if you have a better inclination that Gakpo is going to start than I do, then definitely start him in that fixture. But I'd rather Rodgers for 70, 80 minutes than Gakpo for 20. Jimenez or Mikalenko, always the penalty taken attacker over Mikalenko. Yep. I have a really itchy nose. There we go. Who's better, Visser and Aït-Nouri? Visser. Yeah. Do I expect Chelsea to sign a new goalkeeper in the summer? I mean, probably. Unless one of them finishes the season really well, but I'd be surprised. It sounds like Kepa wants to move to Bournemouth on permanent, and I think that's quite a good move for everyone involved. I'm happy with that. I don't think we'll recall Petrovic. I think people forget Petrovic wasn't that great. He was decent enough, but I still don't think he's the long-term solution to Chelsea's goalkeeper worries. Sharda or Smith Rowe this week? I don't like either. Sharda. Triple captain Salah? I wouldn't. I think there's too much risk on his minutes to risk the triple captainship personally. But if you think he gets 80 plus minutes, then yeah, do it. But I probably wouldn't. Benchik headache, start Isak, Sarr or Kluivert. If I can only start one, Isak's top of that. Kluivert versus Sarr is pretty close. But you'll start one, so Isak. Play four in the middle. Who should I start? Salah and Burma, Kluivert, Semenyo and Elanga. Definitely bench Elanga against Man City. Do we gamble on playing Nottingham Forest players? How do you think the game's going to pan out? I think it'll be like the Arsenal game. I think it'll be low scoring. I think there'll probably be goals. I wouldn't be surprised if the game finishes 1-1. Yeah. Savinho versus Bowen. I just wouldn't buy Savinho. Bowen, probably. Kirkez versus Robinson this week. Kirkez, Haaland, Wanyeri, and Aït-Nouri versus Rodgers and Burma and Trent. What, this week, option 2. Next week, option 1. I imagine that answers your question. Do I think Salah's going to play 90? Oh. Ow. Really hurt. Just twisted my thumb. I don't think Salah will play 90, but I do think he'll start. So he'll play 90 if they haven't won the game. Who to play the assistant manager on? If you need one this week, I'd probably do Graham Potter. If you want to go assist, if you want to go table bonus, it's Graham Potter. If you don't want table bonus, it's probably Arne Slot or Maresca. Wood or Timber? You already have Gabriel. It's going down. Chris Wood over Timber. Glasner, assistant manager, or use a transfer. I'd probably just keep it on Glasner if you've got it. Glasner's probably the other one. Glasner, Palace, Liverpool, Chelsea, or you punt on West Ham if you want a table bonus. But I wouldn't sell any of them. Mateta and Hall replacements. Mateta bench if you can. If not, Chris Wood. If not, Visser, Beto, Marmouche, Evan Nielsen. And Lewis Hall, Aït-Nouri, probably Kirkez, Gvardiol, or if it doesn't affect you going forward, then Munoz. Start Wood or Rodgers? Chris Wood. I feel like Wood versus Rodgers has been probably the most asked benching decision of the season. I think I've answered Wood versus Rodgers more times than I've answered any other question this season. I feel like we went through a phase of like 5 weeks where every week it was Wood versus Rodgers. I feel like I've answered Wood versus Rodgers so many times. Visser versus Rodgers as well, Visser. We have almost 4,000 of you in and only 500 likes. If we could hit 1,000 likes, that would be great. There are over 3,000 of you who haven't liked, and I need 500 of you too. So I need, what is that? 500 out of 3,000, 1 in 6 of you to like the stream, and we'd hit 1,000. But I'm trying to work that out as a percentage. 1 in 6 is what? 16 and a half? Hall to 8 Nori, Aina Kirkes this week. Kieran, yeah, I'd probably go 8 Nori. Am I getting Semenyo or Minte next week? I might end up with both, because I'll probably sell Palmer and Ahmad. Semenyo is a better pick, I'd say. Fella, sadly I can't. I'm off to Bristol this weekend. Enjoy though. I am actually really jealous. I was like, oh, I really wish I could come. Maybe next one. Game week 38 as well. Chelsea are away from home this season, so I may be there. I may be there. Sorry, where were we? Mikalenko or Robinson starts. Again, that probably comes down to if you own Pickford. If you own Pickford, Robinson. If you don't own Pickford, then Mikalenko. Probably. Depends who your goalkeeper is. Why not Neko? Sorry, I always get it wrong and I always get corrected, but I don't know which way around it is. Is it Neco Williams or is it Nico Williams? One of them plays for Forest and one of them plays in the Spanish league. Oh, you'll be in Tokyo, fella. I'm very jealous. Please let me know how Japan is, because it is one of the countries on my bucket list that I want to go to. Martinez to Sarr or Roll. No free at 29. Yes, I probably would do that. Should I start Gibbs White or Rodgers? Good question. I'd probably go Gibbs White. Probably. It's close though. Wood or Bruno? They're both in the ranking. Which way around did I put them? I think I've got Wood over Bruno. Yeah, I do. Chris Wood, probably. Knee as in Nico Williams. As in your knee. My kneecap. Got it. I got it. Dango or João Pedro to start? João Pedro. Thoughts on Jacob Murphy differential? I mean, given he blanks next week, no. Game week 30, he'll be on radar for sure. Gibbs White or Bruno? Bruno. Dango or Enzo? Enzo. If you've got Enzo, I'd start him this week. See, someone just said they're pronounced the same way. I don't think they are. Would I take out Salah next game for Haaland and then wildcard week after? I wouldn't wildcard. Don't have in your mind to wildcard 30. Have in your mind to wildcard 31. Has anything changed over the last couple of days, Lalari? I don't think so. Not massively, apart from a positive update on Isak, a negative update on Mateta. That's about it, really. Positive update on Matoma. Apart from a few little bits of injury updates, nothing really has changed. No. So I think a lot of people are rolling the transfer this week. And then there's going to be a lot of transfers next week. A lot. There's probably going to be the most free transfers ever used in a game week next week, because everyone's saving them up and then using loads next week. Yeah. We only need 100 likes for 1,000. Thank you all very much. Thoughts on Cunha to Evan Nielsen? You've got Chris Wood or Isak. If you've got Wood and Isak, I'd actually probably bench Cunha this week. Let's see if Evan Nielsen starts and hopefully can play a 3-5-2, Nick. That's probably what I would do. If you have to sell, I don't mind Evan Nielsen. It's just not a guarantee that he definitely starts this game. Yeah. Any chance I go Palmer over Salah? Unless I get told before the deadline or we see news on before the deadline that Salah's unlikely to start, then I'll move it. But if we don't get that, then no. Start Timber or Robinson? Probably Timber. Which managers to select this week? If you want table bonus, it's West Ham. If you don't, it's probably Liverpool or Chelsea. Who takes penalties for West Ham? Paqueta if he's on the pitch. If not, Bowen. Do I think Beto is on pens? Yes, probably. It's not for certain, but I imagine so. Cunha to Vissa or start Rodgers? If you can just bench for Rodgers, I would. Thoughts on triple captain Salah this week versus a differential week for someone else? I probably would save it. I think there's enough chance that Salah's minutes are too low to triple captain. I'm fine to risk it for captaincy, but I don't think I'd risk it with a chip, personally. Would love to have Haaland 29 and 30, but will cost 4 or 5 transfers. You only have 2. Should I wait to do it on wildcard? I don't think Haaland's essential. I really don't. I understand why so many people want to buy him. And I'll probably buy him, but I've got 4 transfers next week. I don't think I'd be taking a -8 to get Haaland. Brighton at home is not easy. Most people are buying for Leicester, but it makes sense to buy next week because it's a blank. I just don't think he's as essential as it feels like it's being made out. Everyone's buying him, but it doesn't mean he's essential. Chris Wood or Bowen? Chris Wood or Bowen? Probably Bowen. I think Bowen's got a decent fixture with Newcastle having one eye on the Carabao Cup final. Probably would go Bowen. Right, we have 1 hour to go until the deadline. If you see anything on Twitter that you'd like me to look at, of course, do tag me on Twitter. Now, it doesn't count for like team reveals and stuff, but if you want me to have a look at any team news and stuff, I will look at. We will also put it in subscriber only mode. You literally will have had to have subscribed for 1 second to be able to start using the chat as well. Cool. So Graham Potter, yes. I just find it easier to do the manager, the teams. But Graham Potter, if not Arnie Slot, if not Maresca, probably. For -4, can I bring Marmoush in for Cunha and start Wood over Aït-Nouri and Mikalenko? Have Isak as striker. My only available sub is Alanga. I probably wouldn't do Cunha out for a hit if you've got a player on the bench who you're happy to play. So probably not. Probably not. Gakpo to Wissa. Would I do Gakpo to Wissa? I mean, if you don't have anyone on the bench, yes, but if not, I'd roll. If you've got someone who can cover Gakpo, I'd probably prefer that. Cunha out to João Pedro, Rodgers for a punt on Nkunku. I just doesn't feel worth 2 transfers, if I'm honest. Personally, no. BD, I wouldn't do that. When am I using my manager chip? Either 30, either 31, or I save it and play it in 36. I do like the idea of Wolves in 36. Let's use this. If this is how they fall, like he would have Brighton at home, Palace away, Brentford at home. It would be 3 table bonus games for Wolves. I would have to have at least 1 win and a draw though. And I don't know how much I trust it. Like I could just do it on The thing is, there's not even anyone else that's like a banker. I'd be forced to use transfers. Like, I'd probably do it on City if they got a double. And then I'd move it for 2 weeks to, like, Arsenal. Or I could go to West Ham for Forest at home, Ipswich away. Yeah. If Spurs had Brighton at home for table bonus on the final day. The issue with saving it is I'd have to use transfers. There's not really anyone, unless I just went on Wolves, that I could just leave it on. Wood or Dango? Definitely Chris Wood. Definitely. Wood, Visser, Kluivert. If you have a midfielder like Mbermo, it could be Visser. Probably is. If not, probably Chris Wood. So yeah, there are a few opportunities. If not, in game week 30 to 31, it could be Palace. It could be Palace here, depending on the results and if Palace are going to get table bonus against Brighton, City and Newcastle. If they have this as bonus, if they get a double in 33, I could play it there as well. Villa have Brighton away, Forest at home. It's possible I think they have table bonus against Brighton. But I think it would need Brighton to beat City. Yeah. If Brighton were to beat City, you could get back-to-back table bonus for Villa. So there's a few opportunities. None of them look great. None of them look as good as the 34, 35 opportunities, to be honest. In hindsight. McKenna. Yeah, you could do Ipswich, Brentford at home, Leicester away, West Ham at home. You might get 2 table bonus games and Leicester in there. Yeah, that is possible as well. But I'd need to see something more than I'm seeing from them now, right? Yeah. Yeah. There's just not that much at the end. Things might be different when we get there. Like if there was a double in 36 and I could go double. I mean, if Liverpool have won the league and they go away to Brighton in 37, but who do Brighton have then in 38? Like Spurs, I'm probably not going to do that. Like if I could do 36 on like, I don't know, City here and then go West Ham table bonus and then Ipswich on the final day, I could just do that. Depending on what West Ham need though. Because Forest will, like everyone's, we can play on Forest. But if we get to the end of the season and Forest are still fighting for something and everyone else isn't, then it's difficult there as well. So basically, I don't know. I'm going to decide it after the next round of the FA Cup. Am I doing any transfers? No, I'm rolling. Almost a member for a year. Thank you very much. All you members, I appreciate you all very much. Have a lovely weekend, all of you. Cunha and Lewis Hall. You've got 2 free transfers this week. Would I hold until GW28? You can field 11 from your bench. If your bench is strong enough, I would roll because you never know what might happen. And I think we've been taught over the past couple of weeks that leaving decisions as late as possible, whether it's for doubles or whatever happens, it is ideal if you can. So I probably would just wait if you've got cover on your bench, Ben. Good morning, Adrian. How you doing? Hope you're feeling all right this morning. Bench one of Gakpo, Semenyo, Visser and Mbermo. I'm boring. I'd bench Gakpo because I don't think he's going to start personally. 4.3 million defender for the next 2 fixtures. So you could look at Agbadou of Wolves. Agbadou. That is one possibility. Just for the next 2. So what we've got here is the fixture ticker until game week 31, which is when you're going to wildcard most people. So we don't actually need 31. We need the next 3 game weeks. So Wolves are great. You've got Agbadou. You could also go Matt Doherty. He is 4.3 if you just want a safer pick who's definitely going to start. You could go Cresswell. So at West Ham, They've got Newcastle at home, Everton away, Wolves at home. I think Nico Williams is 4.4 now at Forest. Outside of that, there isn't very much. Mikalenko's risen. So you're probably looking at Wolves or you're looking at Cresswell if you've only got 4.3 for a defender. But yeah, if you're looking at Game Week 31 wildcard, this is the fixture ticket that you're really looking at. Wolves are great, which is why we all wanted Cunha. Bournemouth, which is why Kluivert, Kerkez, Semenyo are all very popular. If you're looking for a defender, it changes it a little bit. But Wolves are still high up. Bournemouth drop a little bit. West Ham are still up there. Yeah. Attack, it's a little bit different. Like, the attack is just great for Bournemouth. Spurs, Brentford, Ipswich are just 3 really good attacking fixtures. So you can get all of this on Fantasy Football Scout. There's a link in the description if you want to sign up. Yep, I use it on all my videos. If Liverpool are in front, do I not think Salah will come off? If they're winning 2-3-0, yes, I think he'll play 70 minutes. But if they're winning 2-3-0, Salah might be on 15 points by then. Sell Dango or Kluivert? Sell Dango for Kluivert. Probably not. If it forces a hit in 29, then no. Start Mikalenko, Aina, Castagna, Wood or Rogers. Probably Mikalenko and Wood over Rogers. Wood or Wanyeri, Chris Wood, Gakpo or Dango. That's really close. I probably would go Dango because I think he probably starts. I just don't see it with Gakpo. I might be wrong on Gakpo and then it will look really silly, but I just can't see it. I might be wrong. If you want a chance on Gakpo, he's got Southampton, then maybe. But if they both started, it would definitely be Gakpo. But why Wissa over Marmoush? So my concern with Marmoush is the Leicester at home game is midweek after the FA Cup. And it just feels like the likes of De Bruyne, if Foden doesn't start the FA Cup, like these players are going to get minutes in that week where they play weekend, midweek, weekend. And the Leicester at home game is the one in the middle. And it also is the one that's most prone for rotation. And I just think there is a bit of doubt. And I know Praz has spoken about this, that it's definitely Marmoush that plays that game. Trossard or Wood to start. I'd probably start Chris Wood. Alanga versus Mikalenko. I'd probably favour the attacker. Cunha to Wissa or stick with Rogers this week. I just play Rogers. Cunha and Hall out. Either Doughty and Wood in or Wissa and Nori. Wood versus Wissa. I'd probably go Nori and Wissa. Start Gakpo or Dango. I'd go Dango because I just don't think Gakpo's going to start, but that's where I'm at. I might be wrong. And he might rock up, but yeah. Honestly, the amount of spam messages that you get on Twitter nowadays, or on X. Join us on Blue Sky. Yeah, not many people. Well, I have tried my best to start posting there more. What to do with Cunha? A, sell him to Chris Wood or Wissa. B, bench him and go to Haaland next week. I think B is very popular. I think there's going to be a lot of people benching Cunha this week. And Mateta. And going to Haaland next week. I think it's going to be very popular. Triple captain Salah or wait? I'd wait. I'd wait. Raya or Pickford? Thank you, James. Raya or Pickford? Probably Raya. Probably Raya. I think it's pretty close, though. I haven't used my assistant manager. No. Still got it. I still got all of them apart from the triple captain. Chris Wood or Ranieri? Who do I start? Definitely Chris Wood. Definitely Chris Wood. Let's put the benching rankings back up and we'll talk through them a little bit. The first 15 are on here. Then we'll look at page 2, which are all worse than these. There's no Trent. There's no Munoz. There's no Palmer. There's no Salah because they're all just definite starts if you own them. Isak over Mbermo. Isak over Mbermo. Mbermo over Kluivert. Kluivert over Bowen. Bowen over Sarr. Sarr over Visser. Visser over Watkins. Watkins over Munoz. Oh, Munoz is on the list. Munoz over Wood. Wood over Semenyo. Semenyo over Fernandez. Fernandez over Matoma. Minte. Marmouche, then João Pedro onto page 2, Beto, then Evan Nielsen, then Rogers, then Jimenez, then Ranieri, Alanga, Dango, Gakpo, Gabriel, 8 Nori, Kirkes, Mikalenko, Robinson, Aina, and Gvardiol. There's no Enzo Fernandez. Start Wood or Enzo. I'd probably play Enzo. I'd probably take the chance on it, to be honest. Do I see myself switching captaincy? Not unless... sorry, I can't change the colours. Just ignore the colours and just look at the ranking. Just look at the ranking. Why am I so confident in Agbadu? He's only 4 million and he should come back in. The Wolves manager said he's back, basically. What? Let me show you something. Look at this post from Wolves. They got the badge wrong. They got the badge wrong. And that's Wolves Fulham in the background. And they've put Real Vallecano's badge in the graphic instead of Everton's. I mean, it just shows the state that I bet Mateus Cunha did this. He was put in charge. He said, "You're not playing, so you can do the graphics." And this is what he came up with. Like, what are they playing at? And they haven't even deleted it. It was an hour ago. They just kept it up. They were just like, It was over an hour ago, and they're just like, can't be bothered. It's fine. Who cares? It's fine. They know what we meant. Don't worry. We'll leave it as it is. They posted the tweet and then left. They were like, I'm off. I'm going out for breakfast. It's Saturday. I'm off. I'm not working on a Saturday. I'm going. Here we go. Here's the graphic. Is it banter or a mistake? I don't understand. Maybe I've missed the banter, but maybe I've missed the banter. But anyway, do I think Mo Salah could be benched? You think it's possible? I don't think it will happen. I think he'll start. It's of course possible though. No early team news yet. We've got 40 minutes until the deadline. No, it is the 8 o'clock kickoff. They did get the kickoff time right. Luckily. It is the late game. What's Harry having for breakfast? I'm having a coffee and getting on a train. That's my breakfast. I think Salah will start. I don't trust it enough to triple captain him, though. Gakpo news. Yeah, nothing. We don't know if he trained yesterday. I wouldn't have confidence in Gakpo starting. I thought Raya too. Oh, I appreciate it. I thank you all for your kind words. Charity match prediction. All I hope is that Josh can play and that he scores. That's what we're all out here hoping for. Nkunku bench order, if you've got him, you've got to start him. He's probably even above Isak. Wolves post has been deleted. The admin was too busy. The admin was too busy watching the stream and then saw me talking about it and was like, yeah, I got to log on and delete the post. That's why it hasn't been deleted since he basically posted it when the stream started, decided to come on and watch my stream, and then has only just realized that he's made a massive mistake on the actual admin's account and has had to run off and delete it. There's no other way of putting it. There's no other possible situation that has happened apart from he realized the stream was starting, posted the tweet, has been watching the stream for the last hour, didn't realize that he's made a mistake while his phone was blowing up, and has now just seen me talk about it and has had to run off and delete it. I cannot see another outcome. I can't see another possible situation. Anyway, will Dom Solanke play? I'd be surprised if he starts. He might be on the bench. Oh, basically the Wolves admin, they posted a graphic that had the Fulham match in the background and also the wrong badge for Everton. They managed to put Rayo Vallecano in it as well. They put, apparently Cunha was put in charge of it. He was put on the naughty step for getting sent off and said, right, until that's done, you can make the graphics. We don't have any early team news as of yet. Start Chris Wood or Konate. Will Konate be rotated? I think there's a chance Kwanzaa starts over Konate. I probably would play Chris Wood. What do I think about selling Isak and Palmer to get Haaland in 29? Yep, it's a very reasonable possibility if you're going to wildcard 31. Because if you're not going to wildcard 31, you'll want Isak back, so I wouldn't sell him. Bench Cunha for Dango or transfer out. I'd bench for Dango and hopefully get Haaland next week. Why is Ahmad first on your bench? Just curious. I know it doesn't change anything. I always put the attacker first sub. It's just always the way I do it. It's worse if I actually refresh and it shows that it's actually like this. He's actually in my starting 11. But yes. Miami City. You can ask again now, why is he in your starting 11 if you'd like? Marmoush or Van Heck? Definitely Van Heck. No, sorry, definitely Marmoush. Wood or Dango? Definitely Chris Wood. Yep. Start Semenyo or Wood? Wood. Wood or Semenyo, actually. Yeah, probably Wood over Semenyo. If you don't have Clive, no, I probably would over Semenyo. Imagine Ahmad surprise starts. Yeah. Imagine. How much? I've actually lost like only 0.1 on Ahmad. If he drops again, I lose another 0.1. But I bought him at 5.2. I bought him really cheap because I took... So, if you don't remember, I took about my only hit this season. I think it's my only hit this season. Let me get it on. Transfer history. Oh, how do I get to it? Oh, points. How do I even see it? Oh, I need game week history. There we go. I've only taken one. I've taken 2 hits this season, and they were both in the same week. And they're in game week 17. I took a -8, and I bought Isaac. I think I bought someone else really random. Who did I buy? I bought Isaac. Oh, didn't I buy Enzo Fernandez? That went really well. I bought Isaac and Enzo Fernandez, and then I bought Ahmad, and I bought Munoz. So Ahmad scored me a hat trick and then got injured, and Munoz has been the best signing I've ever made. So it actually, no, Mavididi was earlier. That was down here somewhere. I actually got some green arrows with Mavididi in the team. Sadly, it wasn't Mavididi causing those green arrows. Mavididi was earlier on, but that -8 that I did in game week 17 actually was really good. I mean, I bought Enzo, I bought Munoz when he was suspended, and I bought Ahmad and I bought Isaac. So that week it didn't really pay off, but they have paid back a lot of points since then. You took the hits then, said you were going to roll for the next number of weeks, and you never really did. That's because there were other things that I had to sort, like having triple Chelsea when they were falling apart. But I haven't taken another hit since, and I'm up to 4 transfers, so it's been okay. It's been okay. Best replacement for Hall, Munoz, if you can get away with it in 29. If not, Aït-Nouri, Kirkez, Gvardiol, or Agbadou or Cresswell. Is there a chance Trent comes on for a 1-pointer? Yes, it's definitely possible. Like, it's also possible that he plays 45. Like, it might be Kwanzaa plays 90, Kanate and Trent both play 45. That's also possible. But I'm just going to take the chance on it. Arnie Slot has been clear, and he said early on in the season he'd rather win games and then make changes rather than make changes from the start. I definitely wouldn't buy Luis Diaz. Chip strategy for the next few weeks. If you're not playing free hit 29, then you just wait until game week 30, and then we'll do chip strategy again, and everything will be clearer. Play Greaves or buy Semenyo? Probably buy Semenyo. If I didn't have, I'd buy. Like, if I didn't have Watkins and had Cunha, and I didn't have Mikalenko, I'd sell Ahmad and buy Semenyo, I think. I do have exact money to do that, but it's fine because there's so many other transfers I planned next week. I could do that. This. It's a -4, but it does get me Haaland, Isak, Salah, Palmer, Munoz. It is something to consider. Then in game week 30, bench Minte, play double Bournemouth home to Ipswich, Wood, Haaland, Isak, Palmer, Kluivert, Semenyo, Salah, Munoz, Haaland, Gabriel. Game week 31, like, probably just start the same again. It might be that I look at a midfielder that week, but it does work. Like, it is something to worth looking at. Yeah, we'll have a bit of time off benching decisions. If you want benching rankings, benching ranking page 1 is up, and benching ranking page 2 will be up in a moment. Ignore the red and the green. Just green is, it was just the way the graphic was on. Is ranked from 1 to 30. The higher up the list they are, the better. The lower down, the worse. So 1 is good, 30 is bad. So there's the list, and there's more on the next page. So I don't mind. I do wonder about this. Which is this transfers. It's a -4. Trent to Aït-Nouri, Watkins to Haaland. Pickford would have to go to Jose Sarr to free up some money, unless I didn't go Semenyo. But I probably would. like, it doesn't have to be Jose Sarr. Like, it could be Areola. Why get rid of Trent? The issue is, I think loads of people get rid of Trent. Harry's anti-Liverpool bias strikes again. I don't have an anti-Liverpool bias. He's just 7.5 million. And if I want to buy Salah, he's about the only person that I can use to do it. It's about the only person I could use to do it. It does mean that I go without Brian and Burmo, though. That's the only thing. But Burmo's fixtures from 30 are not great. I could wildcard 31 or 35 with this. I think it would get to 32 and I'd sell Haaland. And I'd do Haaland to Mateta. It does just work. Maybe I just put my team value to the absolute test. And I get them all and I sell them Burmo. You'll never sell Trent. I'm almost certain I'll sell Trent next week. Gakpo to Better or Strand Larsen, Prob do it in 29 anyway. If you need that player in 30, then Strand Larsen. If you don't, then Better. Better is best for 28 and 29, but Strand Larsen's better if you include 30. Rodgers to Cliver this week or next. I'd probably do it this week if you can. Gakpo for Vista will start. Gakpo with Semenyo bench. I'd probably just roll. Bench one of Enzo, Wood or Clivert. I probably would bench Chris Wood there and chance it on Enzo. Semenyo, if you're holding rank, that's a risk, right? So then maybe don't. Depends how aggressive you want to be. Will price changes cause me to go early in 29? I'd be surprised if I go early. Semenyo or Minte for Rodgers when already owning Clivert. Semenyo or Minte for Rodgers. Probably Semenyo if you can afford it. Oh, Wolves have posted again. Nice. Well, good job, admin, if you're watching. Good job, Wolves admin. Nice work. You put the Everton badge back. Good job. What do I think about Strand Larsen? I don't mind it. He's a good punt if you're chasing, I think. Why am I getting rid of over Trent over Palmer to free up money? I mean, I could get rid of... it could be Palmer that goes. But if I get rid of Palmer and I keep Trent... So what was that? If I keep Trent in here and get rid of Palmer, I'm then playing a player down, right? And I do Palmer to... I could actually get... yeah, I could. But I'm playing a player down. And I don't really want Bruno. I'd rather Palmer. And I'd rather do that, I think. It might be Kirkes. Can I afford Kirkes? How much is he? Has he gone up? He's like 5.1. That's wild that he's so expensive. So it probably is 8 Nori. Or it's not, yeah. Anyway. Is 8 Nori versus Robinson to start close? I'd go with 8 Nori at home to Everton. Colwill bench ranking. I mean, if you've got him at home to Leicester, I'd definitely start him. I'd start him over Gabriel, I think. And I know that's breaking rule 1 of my channel of never sell, never bench Gabriel. I could keep Burmo, sell Palmer. Yeah, I could do that. But but I'd rather, like, Palmer's fixtures afterwards are better. Like, from 30, Spurs at home, Brentford away, Ipswich at home. And then if I free, yeah. I don't know. I think I might take the chance on that. I might push my team value to the limit. I might end up wildcard 31 anyway. And then it's just Spurs at home or Newcastle away from Burmo in 30. In 30. Is it silly to bring in Liverpool defenders in this week? I probably wouldn't. Yeah, because also you don't know exactly who's going to start. The only one I'd confidently say to buy would be Van Dijk, probably. Rodgers to Semenyo this week. Yes, probably. Start Areola or Sells. Who West Ham got? I'd play Sells, I think. Hall replacement. If it doesn't impact you next week, Munoz. If not, it's Aït-Nouri, Kirkez, Gvardiol. Or if you need cheap, probably Cresswell. Can't get Trent. Is Konate a risk? Yes, I wouldn't buy Konate. Konate what? For 6 points before blanking next week? Yeah, that's a no from me. Like, Aït-Nouri, with even if he blanks and blanks, that's still 4 points over the 2 weeks. So no. Wonder if Pereira benches Strand Larsen and plays Guedes up front. I doubt it. He might play Guedes up front, but I think he plays Strand Larsen with him, behind him. Yeah. Wood or Elanga? Definitely Chris Wood. Although Elanga could do well behind that City defence, but I would start Chris Wood. Why am I starting Ahmad? Just so I get a nice auto sub at the end of the game week. I get a nice little boost on Sunday evening when I get Chris Wood into my team for his inevitable hat trick that he's going to score. Strand Larsen will start, says Talking Wolves. Yeah, I can't see why he wouldn't, especially with Cunha out. Talking Wolves, do you think Agbadou will start? And do you think Aït-Nouri is worth the money over him? I should captain Ahmad. I'm not that. Like the thought of, like what? I captain Ahmad, vice captain Salah, and Salah gets a full rest and he's on the bench. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Why do you bias towards forwards instead of mids? They're really good for bonus points this season, forwards. And I've also been stuck with Ahmad for like 3-4 weeks with him being injured now. Bruno is in the benching rankings. He's under Fernandes though. So he's on page 1. So when it comes up in a moment, Fernandes is in the benching ranking. I do think we'll start. Aït-Nouri has more attacking threat, of course. He's been a little bit reserved, but I did see one of the Wolves accounts say it's not impossible that he actually plays really far forward with the suspension of Cunha. I can't remember who said it though. Do I think you'll get Liverpool team leaks? I'd be surprised. It's way too early before kickoff to have anything that we think, but everyone on sleeping on Sarr, Ipswich, then Southampton. Yeah, but he blanks in 29. If they didn't blank in 29, I'd probably do Ahmad to Sarr this week. But unfortunately, I can't do that. Howson benching ranking, he's probably right at the bottom of it because I still would expect Spurs to score. Kushinov, I wouldn't buy Kushinov. There's no attacking threat there. They don't keep enough clean sheets. Yeah. Aït-Nouri could be really attacking. He's probably the one I'll buy next week. I do wonder, Mbermo versus Palmer for 30-31, for 29-30 is pretty close. It's basically the decision. It's basically the decision. Also means I don't buy Gvardiol, but I'm not that fussed about that. Sell Sarr or Rodgers next week. Probably Rodgers. Sarr is good in 30. If you could keep one, I'd keep Sarr. Because Sarr also doubles in 32 if you decide not to wildcard. When will I wildcard? Either 31 or 35. Depending on how the doubles fall in game week 33. If I feel like I need to play the wildcard to get the most out of the doubles in 32, 33, then I'll wildcard 31. If not, I'll save it to 35. Mikalenko or Kirkez? Probably Kirkez over Mikalenko. If you have Lewis, if you don't have Pickford, then it's probably closer. But If you've got Enzo Fernandez, I'd probably take the chance on him. He almost scored from one of Palmer's missed chances last week. I don't think Palmer's a bad captaincy shout for those of you looking at it this week. If Salah was only to play 60, 70, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. But I'm just going to be on Mo Salah, I think, this week. You don't have enough for Palmer. Who can you buy? If you want Chelsea, it's probably Pedro Neto. But if you can't afford Palmer, you probably just go without Chelsea now, I think. Eight Nori over any of Kluivert, Wood or Rodgers. Not this week, no. Why would no one talking about Neto? He's just, yeah, like Southampton and Leicester are great, but after that it does get a lot more difficult. If you were going to buy him, you probably should have bought him last week, I think. Is free hit 29 bad, even if you struggle to field a team otherwise? If you really need it, it's fine. If I had the choice, if I had to rank all the benching all the chip strategies, it would be very low down. I don't love the free hit 29. But if it suits if it needed for your team, then it's fine. Are you fine not going with Palmer and Trent until 35 with my wild card then? Well, that's why I wonder about selling Burma instead of selling Palmer. Start Mikalenko or Eight Nori. Yeah, Eight Nori definitely. Anwar, Ramadan Mubarak. Yes, I hope Ramadan for everyone celebrating or taking part is going well for you all so far as well. I'm always conscious during Ramadan of not eating and drinking on my stream, but it is 2 hours and I do need a cup of tea, so I apologize but most of you say that it's not, that it's fine, but I won't eat, especially. How is Salah's output during Ramadan? It tends to be fine. Like, it doesn't tend to be impacted. I'm okay. Okay, thanks. Haaland or Palmer? This week, Palmer. Next week, Haaland. Postecoglou or Potter? I'd go Potter over Postecoglou. Thank you all. You have assistant manager when you use 30, 31 or leave it till later. Let's see if there's anything. If you guys see anything if any of you see anything on Twitter, please, of course, don't forget to tag me in the post. I've got my phone here and I will see anything that I'm tagged in on Twitter. Why would I sell Isak next week for Haaland and not someone else like Palmer? Doesn't he double soon? So the reason you can sell Isak to Haaland is if you're going to wildcard in 31, it doesn't matter because you can just buy Isak back. And it probably makes managing 29 and 30 a little bit easier if you did sell Isak because you could easily get to him. Now, I've got Ollie Watkins, so it makes my life of Haaland quite straightforward because I know where Haaland has got to come in for. It's just a straight swap of Watkins up to Haaland and just finding the money. Robinson to Munoz this week and start Mikalenko next week. If Robinson was going to play for you next week, then I probably wouldn't do it. Yeah, if it means you're a player down next week, then maybe not. Sanchez replacement in goal. You're probably looking at Sarr. You're probably looking at Areola or Pickford. You've got 0.9 tied up in Palmer in Isak. So you might have 0.9 tied up in him, but you probably don't lose 0.9. So for example, if we look at Isak for me, right? So I've got 0.8 tied up in him, but I only lose 0.4 of value because I'd sell him at 9 and buy back at 9.4. So I'd only lose 0.4 in value, and he'll probably drop at least once. He'll probably drop before the deadline. So I'll probably lose 0.3 in value if I was to sell. I lose 0.1 if Palmer drops. If I lose 0.1 on selling Palmer, yeah. But it's just extra transfers. I lose 2 on Mbermo. I lose loads on Salah. I lose 0.6 on Salah. But we're at... we're at the point in the season now where you've got to cash in on your team value. Can I explain the benching ranking? Of course. So they're numbered. Ignore the colours. They're numbered from 1 to 30 across the 2 pages, and they basically, the higher up the number, the better. So number 1 is good, and number 30 is bad. So you play them in order of the number. So if you've got a player who's 26 and a player who's 7, you play number 7 over 26. So if I go back, that is page 1, and then you'll have page 2 in a moment as well. Lewis Hall to Gavardio. I don't mind it. I don't think Gavardio is particularly that great this week. Who's page 1? Haven't heard of him before. What do I think of Nketiah instead of Visa for Cunha free hitting? No, because 30 Nketiah won't start. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, the reason... Yes, I realise I should do probably a gradient down. I think I should just make it all the same colour, because I think the red and the green makes it difficult to understand. I just think numbers would have been what colour would it be? Teal. Cyan. Is that the same thing? Yeah. We only have 14 minutes to go to the deadline. Okay. Start Rodgers or Chris Wood? The age-old question. Chris Wood. I'm gonna get a tattoo that says Wood over Rodgers. Gordon to Gibbs White or Semenyo or Bowen or Mbermo. I'd probably go Semenyo out of that list. Will I sell Trent next week? Probably, yes. Would I transfer Hall to Munoz? If it doesn't impact your team for next week, then yes. If not, then I'd go someone like Aït-Nouri or Kirkez. Kirkez is more expensive than I thought he was going to be. Why Pickford over Henderson? I'm not sure I do have Pickford over Henderson. Was that in my video? I'd probably go Henderson over Pickford. Rodgers or Wood? Chris Wood over Rodgers. Chris Wood over Morgan Rodgers. Which players are my threat to my rank? I actually don't know. I think Bowen and Visser are going to be like my biggest rank threat. I realise, I'm fully aware, I have like the template team this week. But like Semenyo, Bowen, Visser are probably going to be my biggest rank threats this week. Probably. Kirkez or Rodgers? Rodgers. Marmoush or Visser? What's your best differential? Marmoush is more of a differential, but I probably would buy Visser. JJ, apologies. If you had 6 players that play next week, Raya, Castagna, Greaves, Palmer, Wood, and Clivert with 3 free transfers, would I free or save it? 6, you can get to 9, minus 8, 11. I'd rather do that than play the free hit, if I'm honest. I'd rather not do it, JJ. Would I boot Palmer to Foden if you can't get Haaland? No, because I don't think Foden is a coverage of Palmer. Rogers. I just start reading questions. Any Foden news? No, we've got no early team news as of yet. There's nothing yet. What do I do with Gakpo? I probably don't think he starts, personally. Would I rather be an FPL nerd or a wizard? You're a wizard, Harry? I mean, like, how do I even answer that question? Why do I have Ahmad on? Just so I get Chris Wood auto subs. Real benching headaches this week. There are a lot of benching rankings. Let me put them up again. There's page 1, then we'll get page 2 in a moment. Let me actually lower the time. I'll just get Chris Wood off my bench for Ahmad at the end of the game week. There's page 2. Salah captain. Yes, that is the plan. Unless I see anything negative on him in the next 9 minutes, he's going to be my captain. Bench Trossard. I mean, I don't know who you're playing, but he's fine. I probably would bench him if you can. Palmer captain, chasing rank 45 points below. Yes, but you've got to realise chasing, just because you go different and chasing rank doesn't mean it goes well. Like, it could easily go wrong and you'd be on the wrong end of it. But it feels like another decent opportunity. Is Gakpo totally out? No, he didn't train on Thursday. They were hoping he was going to train on Friday before making a decision for the game. I'd just be surprised if he starts. I might be wrong. My prediction is João Pedro, Dango do start and Gakpo doesn't, for those of you wondering about those players. Yeah. Just got off work, seen nothing. Dango or Rogers? Rogers over Dango and Mikalenko over Castagna is where I would go. Alex. Let me see if there's anything being tagged in on Twitter. I see nothing. I was surprised. I thought we'd get some early team news for either City or for oh, sorry, Axel. Apologies. For either City or Liverpool, but doesn't look like we're going to get anything. Me starting Mateta and Cunha over in Burma. Things we love to see. Nice little bit of benching rankery. What to do about Mateta and Ahmad? I'd probably sell Ahmad first and then sell Mateta next week. What to do with... is Salah playing? We don't know. I expect he will. How comes Gvardiol is at the bottom of the benching ranking? I just don't think he's a great pick this week. I think he's a really good pick from next week. Henderson or Raya? Henderson. Why am I playing Ahmad? Just so I get Chris Wood off my bench at the end of the game week. Just like next week in the blank, everyone will play all their players who don't have a fixture. Like, I'll start Salah and I'll start Isak and I'll start Munoz next week. Will I ever own Ben Mee at any point in the season? I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's unlikely. Very sadly. Are there any mods in the chat? How long until the deadline? Evan Nilsson, yes, I like. It's not a guarantee he definitely starts this game, but I think he will. I don't mind Evan Nilsson. He's a big punt because not many people will own him. Bench 1, Kluivert, Saar, Bowen, Wood, Isak, Visser. Probably Chris Wood there. Any Liverpool team leaks? No, nothing on City either. Imagine the scenes if Ahmad plays 1 minute. I mean, he's in a protective boot and he's ruled out for like the season. So what's the point if you're coming off the bench? It just means that like in your mini league, you'll be knocked down and then at the end of the week, you'll suddenly have a boost up your mini league, basically. It's nothing more than that. Start Rodgers or Woods. Chris Wood over Rodgers. Let's do some transfer questions. Would I immediately use transfers after the games to prevent price changes? I wouldn't know. I'm going to wait until after the Champions League and after the Europa League, I think, for my transfers, even if I lose value this week. What should I order for dinner tonight? Italian, Mexican, ooh, a nice Chinese or, yeah. Ooh, that would be nice. Bench Wood or Wanyeri? Chris Woods. Oh, I'd love a Chinese tonight. Enzo or Chris Wood. I'd probably punt on Enzo. Start Jacob Murphy or Dango. You have Isak. I probably would play Murphy over Dango. You know it, Tim. Agba do essential. Agba do. Ooh, okay. We have a leak. Oh, but right. You're going to have to take this with a little bit of caution. Okay. We're going for a disclaimer before I show you a leak. Okay. A little disclaimer. These people have been wrong in the past and they say it's a new source. I don't like that it's a new source. I don't like it. But if you've got Marmouche, it might put him lower down in the ranking, and I definitely wouldn't buy him this week. They have been wrong before, and the fact that they've said a new source does concern me a little bit. It does concern me a little bit. So don't buy him. If you've got him, I'd potentially bench him. Yeah. Nothing on Gakpo. FPL. MCFC. Main Road has got one. Ooh, okay. Well, Main Road has Foden starting and Marmouche on the bench. So take that way and how you'd like. If you've got Marmouche, it's probably worth benching him. If you've got Foden, then it's probably worth starting him. I wouldn't buy either this week. Well, I definitely wouldn't buy Marmouche. I probably wouldn't buy Foden because I still don't think it helps that much in future weeks. But yes, I would be looking to probably bench Marmouche. Bench Marmouche or Atara, I'd probably bench Marmouche now if it was in my situation. Nothing on Liverpool or anything. No, nothing there either. Nothing on Liverpool. It's too far from kickoff. It's too far from kickoff. Is he? He's been so transferred in as well. Some of the most bought forwards this week are Marmouche, Cunha, and Mateta as well. That's wild. Yeah, that was my concern. I said I was concerned about him going into the Leicester game. I didn't think it would be this game, but he's gone with Foden. I did say there was concern. João Pedro or Dango, I'd play João Pedro. I will put the benching rank out. Let's benching ranking page 1, and then there'll be page 2. We are into the final minute before the deadline. Please go and check your teams. This is the final minute before the deadline. I will not be answering any more questions. Final minute is always there for you to go and check your lineups. My team is locked in. Nothing has changed from the beginning of the stream. The benching ranking is back up on screen if you need it. Page 1, and in 10 seconds, there'll be page 2. They're ranked from 1 to 30. 1 is good, 30 is bad. Go and check your teams, and that will be the deadline. That will be that in a moment. There are the church bells. That is going to be all. That is going to be all. We'll do fancy challenge and that sort of stuff just now. Let me tweet my team, but that is going to be the deadline. If you are heading off, thank you all very much. Have a lovely weekend. There's going to be loads of videos next week for like free hit, people not on free hit and everything. So make sure you're subscribed before you head off if you haven't subscribed already. Please like the stream before you go as well. Completely free way to support the channel. Both subscribing and liking if you haven't. Have a lovely weekend, but we are going to do our fancy challenge and that sort of stuff. A game week 20, is it what game week? 28 team. Rolled, transfer, and Salah captain. Have a good weekend. Right. Post. Post it on Instagram. And I will not forget those of you on Blue Sky as well. Let's do fancy challenge in a moment. Okay, right. I sort of have just a bit of time. Let's do fancy challenge. We might not stick around for the lineup because I do have a train to go and catch. And I haven't finished packing my bags. My team value, I can't check now. Did I do it last week? Yes, I got 117. Pick team. Assistant manager earns doubles. Assistant managers earn double points. So is that the same again? Is it just more assistant manager? Is that it? Well, I'm definitely going for West Ham now. Potter? How does it go? Potter? You're a wizard, Harry. Potter? Right. I'm not What formation? Do I have to play a back three? Well, that's sad. Is there a limit to how many players I can have? Is there no limit to players per team, or is it 3? What happens if I put... Let's just put... I'll get you now. I can put in as many as I want. Great. Is there a price limit? Am I missing something here? Potter? 5. Is it 5 again? Do I ask this question every week, and is it always 5? Yeah, but I have to have a certain amount of defenders. I'm going to put Simicast in because I think he'll start. And I'm going to put Kukukukureya. Yeah. We're going, let's go differential. Curtis Jones. Darwin Núñez. DK from Benfica to the Big Reds. It's Leviosa. I any forwards I like? Strand Larsen, not really. Well, can I play a 3-4-2? I look like your uncle. Darwin captain. Will I watch the Premier League or the Sidemen charity match? What time is the Sidemen charity match? What time does it kick off? Must be a good-looking uncle. That is for sure. I'm drinking orange squash. 3. Oh, well then I'm not going to watch the Premier League because there's no Premier League on at 3. It's almost like they did it on purpose. It's almost like they're incredibly good at strategy and have put it on when there isn't other live football on. It's on BT. No, it's not. No way it's on BT. No. Oh, British time, sorry. Oh, he said 2:30 BT. I thought he said it's on BT Sport. I was like, that would be mega. And I'm also not sure BT are allowed to show live sport at that time. It's on YouTube. Yeah. Potter. I need to know the rest of the line. I can't even remember what it is. It's just anything that Malfoy says. Potter? How can I stream? It's on the Sidemen channel. It's on the Sidemen's YouTube channel. Filthy Mudblood Potter? I can't even remember. I haven't even seen all of them either, but I'll take any excuse to do an accent or something. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know that, but I need quotes that have the word Potter in it. Yeah, we're not in BST yet. We're in GMT, I think. What software do I use? I use OBS. Harry, mate, you're not funny. Well, I apologize if I'm not funny, but I appreciate you tuning into my stream to comment that. Well, that's charming. There we go. Me? Funny? Who's funny? Me or me? Ben me's funny or me's funny? Yeah, have that. Have that. This was my team. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Has anyone seen a pigeon today? What's my rank in Fantasy Challenge? I have not got a clue, and I have not played it every week. Overall, I'm in the top 5% overall. How do I see where I am? Favorite type of potato? Mash. No, Arnie Slot, the clip's done, unfortunately, because no one's got their assistant manager on him anymore, and I didn't pick him. If I picked him, I could do the Arnie Slot line for you, but now, yeah, unfortunately, I've got to... How do I know actually where I am? Why does it just tell me top 5%? Like, I'd like to know what my actual rank is. That's between me and the 4 other people playing it. Oh, manager profile. What? Manage team. What? Leagues. I'm in the top 5%. Great. Cracking stuff, this. Click on the home tab. Top 40%. Oh, season rank. 100k. I played 22 of 27 game weeks. I'm 100k in the world. Thank you. Top 5 of 5 people. Dear, very funny. Very funny. Very funny. We have 4 minutes to go until the deadline, and then until the team news, and it's literally as soon as it hits. I'm going to put my shoes on because I am in a bit of a rush. I need to undo my laces. Mash isn't a type of potato. Well, I don't. What do you want me to give you? The species? I don't know. Whichever one mashes best. I put my shoes on. King Edward, like Maris Piper. King Edward is best for mash. You like Maris Piper. It's so funny when Harry laughs. Sorry, I'm just trying to tie my shoe for anyone wondering what on earth is going on. It's so funny when Harry laughs at his own jokes. Well, if I don't make you laugh and I don't make whoever it was in the chat earlier telling me that I'm not funny, United fan, well, at least I make myself laugh. Yeah. I do actually probably need to go. I'm not going to wait for the team news. Hopefully it's as it should be. Hopefully Chris Wood starts. I am going to Potter. I am going to wrap it up there. Thank you all very much. There'll be loads of videos next week. We're probably going to do a video every day apart from Monday. So there'll be loads of stuff next week. So have a nice weekend. Good luck with your FPL week. Thank you for joining the stream. Like before you go, subscribe. Appreciate you all. Have a good one. Look out for some pigeons, and I will see you all very soon.